We talk a lot. We're still going to be talking a lot, but we wanted to give y'all the option to ask us stuff that you wanted to ask, and you did. So,
Yeah.
Malpal, hit me with them.
All right, you've seen these questions already.
Yes, most of them, I think.
What area do you want to start off with?
What's the area we have the most questions about?
Should we just come out?
Probably North Texas.
I was going to say, let's
we have
just,
a lot of North Texas questions, and we'll kind of lump it all together.
Let's just kind of come out the gate here. And we'll go with, this question was sent in by Jacob Flores. Shout out to him. He's a loyal TFT, WTF viewer. So big shout out to him. Is Ross Hodge, the UNT associate basketball head coach, the obvious answer for the next Mean Green coach? What's the most important thing we could do better to keep the next great coach? Higher salary, attendance, new arena, better facilities. And if it's not Hodge, who is it going to be?
I have a lot of takes on this.
Yeah.
First off, initial gut reaction, yes. If it is me and I am Jared Mosley, I am hiring Ross Hodge as the next head coach of UNT men's basketball. There's a lot of different reasons behind that. One, I think what we're witnessing with Grant McCasland is, I saw a debate going about it earlier, and it got me really thinking. If not the best coach of any sport that we've ever seen at North Texas, I think there is a definite case to be made for John Hedlund, the women's soccer coach, who has a winning record and has won the conference tournament 8 million times. I think that's someone that you could really point to. But if not, I think Grant McCasland has to be the best coach that we've seen at North Texas. Ross Hodge is his right-hand man in so many different ways. But the thing about it is, I think that if you want to keep the culture that Grant McCasland has built, there is not a single human on the planet that knows it better than Ross Hodge. I think that he's been coaching for 21 years. He's been the assistant coach of the year from the Texas Basketball Association last year. He did it at the previous schools that he was at, Colorado State. He's a Dallas native. Like, he's from Dallas. He understands this area. His first recruit to North Texas was Zach Simmons, one of the best big men that we've seen in recent history. Grant McCasland obviously likes to bring in young, scrappy, smaller players because guess what? That's what Grant McCasland was.
Right.
Ross Hodge, I think, recognizes the need for bigs too, and I think that's huge. I think if I had literally just one complaint about Grant McCasland, and I really don't have one, but if I had to choose something that I didn't necessarily like, I felt like there was one or two teams that North Texas could have really bust through the seams had they had a big man. So I think that Ross Hodge has that. And the other thing is, when you want to start talking about what North Texas has done so well that has given them so much success under Grant McCasland, is the way that they play defense. That's a big portion of that is Ross Hodge. So if you want to ask me, this is a guy that has been patiently waiting for the right point to become a head coach. I think that he is invested in this program. I think if you want to talk about keeping players from what we have right now to the recruits that have been recruited by Coach McCasland, I think Ross Hodge could convince a lot of them to stay. I personally think that that is the best thing. Yeah. If you want an established head coach, you have one? Scott Cross.
I was just, that's what I was going to say.
Was it really?
I was going to say
we
Scott
did not
Cross.
talk about this beforehand, to be fair.
No.
Scott Cross is the right answer if you are looking for, if you do not want to go, or there very well could be the way that Coach Hodge does not want to become a head coach, and he wants to follow Grant McCasland to Tech, which we don't have any inside information on, but feel like that is completely inevitable. I think Scott Cross is easily your answer.
He's kind of like McCasland, I think, in the sense of everywhere he's gone, he has won. So did he start off at UTA?
He might have had somewhere before then, but UTA is when he put
that's
himself
when
on the
he
map.
found a lot of success. Took him to the CBI one year, couple of NIT appearances, one NCAA
of the NIT.
Yes, one NCAA tournament appearance back in 2008. And then, of course, he got picked up by Troy. So he found a ton of success at UTA and with the Mavericks. And then he was picked up, of course, by Troy. And back in 2021, he took them to the first 20-win season in like 5 or 7 years. So he has found success everywhere that he's gone. And talk about a step up, I would say. Probably from the Sun Belt to the American. in terms of basketball, that's a pretty big step up.
Oh,
and
yeah.
if he's looking for that next step, I think North Texas would be a really, really good fit for him.
Yeah. It's actually funny. I remember thinking back to before McCaslin was hired and thinking that, this guy there was rumblings going around this guy might be it, and it didn't end up being it. And I think that actually turned out for the better in the long run of now Scott Cross now has another added bonus of the continued success he had at UTI. I mean, I remember as North Texas used to scrimmage UTA all the time, and I remember when when North Texas lost to UTA in the scrimmage because Scott Cross was there, and that was one of the unbelievable teams that he had led. But I think that the experience at Troy, and especially there's a difference too between taking over a really good program. Like, you want to talk about like a blessing for him coming into this. He can take over a North Texas program that has its foundation set.
Exactly.
He went to Troy that did not have a foundation and completely turned that around within just a matter of minutes. So I think that if it worked out for Ross Hodge to become the next head coach, I think that is a completely warranted bona fide thing. Here's the other thing. If Jared Mosley, being a brand new athletic director,
wants to make a hire,
feels a little uncomfortable giving someone who doesn't have head coaching experience, then that makes sense. Now, that being said, Jared Mosley was also an athletic director at ACU for 15 years before he took the COO position at North Texas under Ren Baker. So he has experience as an athletic director. He might not be as gun shy putting an assistant that doesn't have head coaching experience on there. But if you do and would rather go after someone that does have that coaching experience, I personally think that the answer is very clear, and Scott Cross needs to be the guy.
Agreed. So I think those are the two front runners.
Yeah, and if we want to answer, what was the other? I mean, obviously, higher salary is great, but it kind of depends on what you're getting. I bet you Scott Cross's paycheck would be a lot more than what Ross Hodges' paycheck would be. So that kind of goes into who the candidate is. Do I think that an upgraded facility for the basketball arena would be great? Yes, but I also, knowing way in the weeds of North Texas stuff, that facility, the Super Pit, they put in a ton of money with renovations into it these past couple of years. So I don't think that that's necessarily the issue. I know that I don't think that just a sole basketball arena is anywhere. Like, they need to upgrade the volleyball gym before they upgrade the basketball arena as a whole.
Right.
But I think that facility is also used for so much
many other things.
On campus, non-athletic events.
Yeah.
That
graduation.
Yeah,
cheerleading
competitions, everything.
Concerts.
Yeah, it's hard for them. The Super Pit would still exist for all on-campus stuff. The only way that would change is if North Texas decided to build a basketball-only facility over on the other side of I-35. I don't think necessarily the facilities are going to change anything. I think they need to keep updating them. But they just went through huge locker room renovations a couple years ago. They've upgraded everything in there. Like, I think the facilities are fine.
Right. Well, they just built that huge indoor for the football team too. Yeah. So I mean, probably not right now.
No.
Let's stick on the topic of basketball, and let's talk about some Final Four predictions.
There we go.
Men's and women's. You want to start with women's?
Let's start with women's.
Okay.
Because I need to refresh my brain on the men's side of stuff. I've been very
women's
basketball oriented. My women's prediction is, one, it is unfair that South Carolina and Iowa, from just a fan perspective, is a semifinal game. Do I think Virginia Tech has every right to say they're a better team than Iowa? Yes. But the amount of happiness that I experience when I think about watching Caitlin Clark take on South Carolina is immaculate. I'm going to still stick my guns with South Carolina. I think they are by far the best combined team.
Yes. Depth-wise, they're deep.
But we could see a performance worthy of writing a book about if Caitlin Clark could single-handedly take down that team. If Caitlin Clark can beat South Carolina, Iowa is winning the national championship, in my mind.
I think so, too.
I think it's going to end up being South Carolina, but I think we're in for a treat in the semifinals tomorrow.
Yeah, because I think that's exactly what, this is kind of a different example here, but when Purdue played FDU in the first round of the tournament, I mean, the secret to taking down Purdue is shutting down their big man, Zach Edey. And once you shut him down, they don't have many other options because their offense relies so much on Zach Edey, and in this case, Caitlin Clark. So I'm wondering, if you shut her down, does Iowa have the depth and what it takes to be able to step up in her place,
which is funny
and hang
because
with South Carolina?
That has absolutely been every single team that has played Iowa has had that conversation right there in the locker room. Hey, you see the shiny prize. You know what you need to do with that.
What
you
the game
need
plan
to
is.
stop. You need to take her down. And guess what? Not a single person.
And Iowa knows
that.
that.
Absolutely knows that. Like, no one has been able to do it. So that's what makes it so fun is South Carolina obviously is unbelievable offensively too, but their defense is immaculate. And if they are the one that is able to shut them down, which I think if anybody is, it's them.
Gonna be South
but
Carolina.
I just feel like you cannot count out Iowa because we have not seen a team be able to stop her. Not and especially not in the playoffs.
Right.
Playoff tournament.
In the tournament, yeah. And she's so dang good. I mean, she's
so
setting
fun to watch.
She's making history right now. She's making absolute history. She had a 40-point triple-double the other night in an NCAA tournament game. 40-point triple-double.
Insane.
There hasn't even been anybody on the men's side to ever do that.
Yeah.
She is the first player, male or female, in NCAA tournament history to ever put up a 40-point triple-double. I don't even think there's been a 30-point triple-double in the tournament. I literally think she is the only one.
Yeah,
that is insane.
Yeah, if you have not been keeping up with the women's bracket, tomorrow night at 8:30, it'll be on ESPN. You've got to turn that game on if you're a sports fan. All right, what's your take on the men's side of things? Which is funny, both of those being in Texas.
This one's down in Houston.
Yeah, in Houston.
Yeah. I am rooting for FAU.
Correct. Conference USA.
Conference USA.
Justice for Conference USA, darn it.
Conference USA all the way. I'm rooting for them. But if I have to go logically, I think I think that we'll stick on the left side of the bracket for now. I think FAU could absolutely beat San Diego State. I really think they could, and I think they could make it to the national championship game, which is absolutely crazy.
Not on my bingo card, but go Conference USA.
2 mid-major programs in the Final Four. I mean, that's just wild to me. I never thought I would say that. However, they're most likely going to run into probably UConn. I would say. I think that UConn's going to beat Miami because UConn has just they have really turned on the Jets in the tournament. They have just bulldozed over other teams in this tournament so far. I think they're locked in. It's been since 2014 since they've been here. Actually, I got to see them win back in 2014, which is pretty cool.
How about that?
That was at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, so that was pretty cool. But
the egg,
yes. But I think that UConn is the front runner here in the Final Four, and I think UConn's got it. I think they're going to win the whole thing. I really do. I think they're the best equipped for it.
Yeah, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. I'm straight up rooting for FAU.
Yep.
Go Conference USA. I would love to see that. Here's where you and I differ a little bit. I think that you were correct, and UConn has been the best team that we've seen go through the men's bracket so far. They turned it on. They look poised for another one. I think the thing, and maybe I'm scarred from the Houston game, Miami, when they are hitting threes, is dangerous. I feel like we will know through the first half of the first half, because in the college hoops are in halves, which is stupid. But anyway, don't get me on that trick. But throughout the first 7 minutes of this game, I think we'll have some sort of an answer, because UConn is definitely playing better basketball. They're the more well-rounded team. But when Miami gets hot, they can go. And we also saw them come back against Texas.
Right.
They didn't
That's
shoot.
a good point.
They could not miss a three-pointer against Houston. Then they go play Texas in the Elite Eight, and they make 2 in the first half. That's why they were down so much.
Yeah.
Now, they found a way, tooth and nail, to claw back. There's no doubt about that. I think Miami stands a chance. But I think UConn's a better team. You know what? We're going wild here. Give me FAU and Miami. Give me the 2 Florida teams. Today, mark it down. March 30th, 2:38 p.m. Give me Miami. Give me FAU. I want it.
I'm going FAU UConn, but
Okay, yes,
I'll
that's
take it.
perfectly fine. That's probably the smarter
That's-
choice. But I'm going bold
Yeah,
here.
it's-
We're
it's
pulling the clips
variety.
if I'm right. We're going
All right.
full Florida crazy man action, going down an H10.
That would be
That'd be crazy.
a 9 and a 5.
I was gonna say,
in a
and you know what's so funny is
national
they're like
championship
not far from each, like 20 minutes from each
No.
other, and they'd both be going all the way to Houston to play the
No.
Natty.
game. It's like, why can't we just go back home and play this like a neutral site right in the between?
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy.
I
It's
think
wild.
UConn wins it all, but
Yep.
I'm sticking firm. Florida Atlantic and
All right.
Miami.
All right. Well,
There's
take
your men's championship.
I'll take
because
it.
Why not?
Why not? All right. We'll just get this one out of the way. How much do y'all love Ish? Our coworker Ish. I don't know an Ish. I know a Schmale.
Yeah, incorrect.
None at all. The answer is
Incorrect.
the answer is no. We don't like him at all. Just kidding. We love you, Schmale.
Incorrect.
Let's go with early Heisman predictions.
You.
Who's your front runner? I got my front runner.
Yeah.
Mine's kind of weird, but
I don't know.
Arch Manning. Just kidding.
I don't know. You know who I want to win the Heisman? Cade Klubnik at Clemson.
Yes.
That's who I want to win the Heisman.
Yeah.
Let me show my Texas high school football bias.
It's a good one.
But
That's a good one.
I would love to see Cade. Do I think that's could happen? No. Caleb
Could be.
Williams is the obvious answer.
Yeah,
I feel
yeah.
like that's what everyone's thinking. I think it would be kind of cool to see Bo Nix win it.
Yeah, I think so too.
But Cade Klubnik
All right.
for Heisman. Send it.
Full send. I'm
No
rooting.
cap.
Yeah, you know what? If I'm rooting for somebody, that's who it is.
Oh, yeah,
Cade
absolutely.
Klubnik. We'll see.
I don't think that'll happen, but it would be cool. He is on the list.
Or Quinn Ewers, if we're going
yeah,
high school
yeah.
football.
We can bring it back to Texas.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. I wonder who's going to start over there.
Yeah.
Quinn or
I think Quinn Ewers will
Arch?
start.
I think so too, because I think that Sark is he's big, and I'm not a Texas expert, but I think he's really big into like you got to earn your spot.
Yeah.
You know, and Quinn's been there for a
Yeah.
year now, so
I think
anyways,
that
that's way back.
again, much
off
like
in the weeds, but-
Jimbo and Petrino with a very short leash
Correct.
thing. I think that could be a very
Correct.
short leash, but I do think we will see Quinn Ewers get the starting job.
Yeah.
I would be kind of surprised if we didn't.
I agree. I think my bet might be on Michael Penix Jr.,
Okay.
Washington quarterback. I actually watched a full game of his this year against
Wow.
my Michigan State Spartans.
Washington insider Mallory Hartley.
Yeah, he torched our secondary, and our that's not saying too much because our secondary was
Garbage.
garbage. Just put it fancy. Not saying much, but really stinking good. I think he put up the second most passing yards in all of FBS this year. He's really dang good. 4,354 passing yards in 2023. Yeah, second most in the FBS. And what's really impressive is they're bringing back that core of wide receivers that he loved. And they're bringing in a couple of really, really stinking good ones. So,
Yeah, that'd be
and
wild.
if it weren't, they did not play in the Pac-12 championship. Correct.
Correct.
It was Oregon and wait, was it No, it wasn't Oregon. It was USC for sure. Who came back and beat them? Was it Arizona? I think it was
think so.
Arizona. It was it was something like that. But I think that at one point Penix Jr. was a front runner to win the Heisman. But they lost back-to-back games against UCLA,
Utah.
and it was
Utah and
Arizona.
USC. Utah
Correct. Utah came
whooped
back
up
and
on them. That's right. I
because
remember
they jumped
watching
out
that.
like 21-0 or
yeah,
something, and then they came
47
back
to
and
24.
yes, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
The
So
Utes.
right, but I think if Washington wouldn't have lost those back-to-back games, they would have been playing in the Pac-12 championship, and Penix would have been a front runner to win the Heisman. I think that he's going to come back stronger this year. He's already developed that chemistry between those core wide receivers, all of them coming back. I would like to think that he might be a front runner to win the Heisman.
I like it. Go
I don't
Cade Klubnik.
Go Kate.
All
If
right.
I'm rooting for somebody, yes.
Do we have an ender?
Ender. Yeah. Let's do why not cover Texas high school baseball? Why do we not cover Texas high school baseball?
That's funny because that's kind of a funny question to a couple
Because we kind of do.
We do. Under the Dave Campbell's umbrella, technically now we do. And it's funny because you are correct. We do not have a TexasBaseball.com. We do not have a Dave Campbell's Texas Baseball magazine. And you want the open and honest answer about why we do not? Does anyone want to do it? Like, it's not the fact that we don't, like, I think Tepper loves baseball more than he loves football. He loves football.
If anyone's going to cover it.
From a pure joy of watching a sport, that man, he's at the Rangers opening day right now.
Yes.
But that being said, we just do not have enough manpower right now to start another magazine.
No.
But on the cool side of this, and the reason that I know that we pump up Dave Campbell's Texan Live, our streaming service, so much, but that is really genuinely why we enjoy it so much, is we get to dive into every single high school sport possible and cover baseball. Now, here's the difference. Setting up a stream, I'm not saying that it's easy by any stretch. Mallory and I have lost, so you see these bags under my eyes? That's from setting up streams, so I'm not saying it's not a very grueling task, but setting up a streams throughout the month of baseball, especially playoffs and stuff, that is a lot less time consuming and an actual already part of our job than it would be to put together a 400-page magazine. Like those magazines take so long and so much effort and so much
manpower that we just don't
at this point, the other side of it too is when we would be putting together the baseball magazine would primarily be towards the end of football season and afterwards. Because the basketball magazine comes out in October, but he starts it almost immediately following us doing the football magazine. So if you go back 4 to 5 months, we would be still in football season, and obviously we've got a brand on the wall to maintain there, that we would just need a whole other subsection of people. But luckily, Dave Campbell's Texan Live has given us an avenue to at least be able to keep up with the baseball scope, and we broadcast the championship games and all of that.
Right, and I was going to say, too, this adds to it a little bit. You and I watch a lot of games on Texan Live. I mean, partly because it's our job. We have to make sure that these streams get up. We're just doing our due diligence. But also, we like to learn. Yeah, we'll tweet out here every once in a while about a good baseball game that's going on or a good softball game, whatever we're watching on Texan Live. So in a way, I would say, we do cover it.
Yeah.
We just don't cover it as extensively as football because we just can't. Like, we don't have enough manpower.
Yeah.
We're a small company.
Yeah.
We're a big little company.
Yeah, so, I mean, eventually, obviously, we just continue to grow and grow and grow and grow. I would love to get to the point where we could start Dave Campbell's Texas Baseball.
Heck yeah.
But right now, we've mastered the football thing. We're moving on to basketball, so there's more to be had. But technically, we do kind of cover baseball. Kind of.
A little bit.
So, yeah, there you go.
Nice.
Answering questions.
I like doing mailbag. I think it's fun.
It is fun.
And we can't do it every
everyone.
time, obviously, because we only do one show a week. But every once in a while, I think this is kind of fun.
Yeah, maybe once every couple months we'll keep doing these mailbag things. So appreciate everyone for asking us questions. That's gonna do it for us.